Okay. Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. I don't know if I'll keep that part. You know. Yeah. I don't know if I'll keep that part, but I will drop it on IG tomorrow. In the morning, I should say. Listen. This is the What's Next podcast, Houston's #1 platform where I invite creatives to share their journeys and give us a depiction of their visions. Most importantly, the last question I'll ask is, what's next? Listen, Houston, Texas, you already know what I came to do, and if you didn't, every Tuesday I drop a new episode of my podcast. This is episode number 99. Episode number 99, entitled Every Tuesday. This is New Year's Eve. Dropping at noon. Let's go.
Yo, it feel like 95. Sachi on my body. Biggie, jigger, puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby.
I'm gonna let that rock for a little bit. Houston, Texas. New Year's Eve. Let's go. Yeah. Cheers to the money guys.
The Willie niggas.
Uh-oh.
Who buy them bottles and then they spill these liquors. Yo,
Salute, my dude.
I see you, dog.
5 bottles, 1.
Dig why I need to rub.
Houston, Texas. Welcome back. Welcome back to the 99th edition of the What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. This is every Tuesday. The name of the episode is Every Tuesday. The What's Next podcast is all about a creative story. My name is John Ross Dike I, and I'd like to welcome you back. Short turnaround. We just dropped Tuesday, episode 98 on the 29th of December. But I hope you didn't think that I was going to let you go out this year without dropping something on New Year's Eve. I got a lot to get into in such a short period of time. It's about 1:01 in the morning. I wanted to wait till New Year's Eve to drop this episode. You see me in the black exclusive What's Next podcast t-shirt that I give to every creative that comes on the show. Man, it feels good to be here. You know, I want to say shout out to my wife, Kizzy Danae Ross Dike. I want to say rest in peace and God bless the dead to my baby boy, John Ross Dike II. Without you two, I would not be here today. In episode number 99. Man, I just feel so grateful. Normally, I would say that the word that describes me is undiscovered, but today, at this very moment, I feel grateful to be here because people did not make it. Some people did not make it to December 31st, 2020. Some people did not make it. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke. To King Von. Rest in peace to somebody more closer to me, Grant Ashley Taylor. Rest in peace to my baby boy, John Ross Dike II. A lot of people did not make it to this moment. And in this very moment, the word that defines me is grateful. I'm grateful to have you tune into me. I'm grateful for you to understand that I do this podcast every Tuesday. I'm grateful for you to listen and to have watched my podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. I don't know where I'll take it in 2021, but those 3 platforms, if you're listening, I'm grateful. If you're watching me on YouTube or on my website, stillvisionary.com, I'm grateful. If you're watching me because I posted on Facebook, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this moment, and I do not take it for granted. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, for spreading the word, for subscribing, for just being here with me. Up until 99 episodes, it's a big feat. I don't even know if I used the right word, but it's a big accomplishment for me to have made it to episode 99 because people that you know that make podcasts have not made it to this point. And I love it. I sound so luxurious, right? Because my goal was to get to episode 100, but I did not get there. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm at episode 99. And like Asia and I were talking about in episode number 90, 7 of the podcast tees for us that's not playing. That episode is not playing on my website. It's playing on Spotify. It's playing on SoundCloud. It's playing on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to me on those platforms. Leave me a comment. Help me grow my podcast. Right? But I end the episode off on my 100th episode, and I end the year off on my 100th episode, and I begin on my 100th episode. So it's all the same. Before I get further into the podcast, this episode, I want to introduce my social media handles so I can get that out the way. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at John Ross Dike _visionary. The new IG page that I'll be actively promoting in 2021 is my podcast IG page, and that's the What's Next Pod _ on IG. If you would, connect with me on LinkedIn, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my fan page on Facebook, and visit my website at stillvisionary.com. Directly in front of you, I have the merch I sell on this podcast on my website and out the trunk of my car. I got new merch here. Y'all. This is a new item that I'm putting on the website in 2021. It's a windbreaker with my logo on the front, on the pocket, and on the back. Guess what? The podcast logo. Right? This is new merch right here that you'll be seeing me rock in 2021. Here we go right here for the winter season. Here we go right here in the front. Okay? In the front, my logo. In the back, What's Next Podcast t-shirt. This one right here was messed up. It was supposed to be orange and orange, right? So I bought it, and I'm going to sell it to you. It's on sale. Hit me on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. I'll give you the price. It's on sale right now to my highest bidder. Cash App, John Ross Dike. Okay? Hold up. Yeah. So, man, I'm grateful to be here. I don't know. First time I did a podcast, I didn't know that I was going to make it this far. All I know is I wanted to do a podcast, and to make it to 99 today is a special occasion. I have a lot to get into today, right? In such a short period of time. I want to keep it under 35 minutes so you can consume all this information. All right. What should people take from this episode? It being episode 99. At this point, if you haven't noticed, if you're not aware, if this is your first time listening to my podcast, because one of my dear followers gave it to you, I drop every Tuesday, rain, sleet, or snow, at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and not a second after. The video and audio might not drop at the same time, but the audio drops at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, period. It was my goal to make it to 100 episodes, but I'm here at 99. I keep saying that because, goals are things that we hold ourselves accountable to. And yeah, it's just been difficult. I know it's the holiday season. Like I said, people didn't make it to this point. It's the holiday season. People are finding themselves. People are reevaluating their lives. And so I can't hold anybody accountable. I just got to keep on. Like Jay said, I got to keep on, because if I don't, I can't let it fall by the wayside. Listen, 2 years ago, on the 1st of January, 2021, 2 years ago, I dropped this. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Dear John, the iconic legend Quincy Jones said, "To know where you came from makes it easier for you to get where you're going." Sean Diddy Combs said, "Everyone has challenges and lessons to learn. We wouldn't be who we are without them." If 2018 and the last 6 years taught you something, it's that anything is attainable with the right focus and determination. Continue to build. Continue to promote your vision. Continue to inspire creativity and make more creatives. In closing, Nas said, "No idea's original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. The first chapter of your vision's movements is done. However, you're still a visionary. Peace and blessings. John Ross." Yes. 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 Yeah, I played that video in all 45 episodes that I dropped in 2019. And maybe I put it in the wrong place. I put it in the wrong place. I put it in the very beginning of the podcast. So, you know, if you were a returning listener, right, you didn't even get to the meat and potatoes of the podcast because that video was in the beginning. Yes, it was short, but it was just placed wrong, right? And so that was the first visual of my production company. I wanted you to see what I do, right? And that is produce. Where I was going in that video, I don't know. But I love the black and white. I love it. I love the black and white. And I love the voiceover, right? So from there, in 2020, I did not know what kind of promotional video I wanted to make because I hadn't quite thought through the process of what it was that I was trying to get across, right? And hold on, let me share this video. Here we go. Episode 99. I'm gonna post it. Okay. Now, let me go here. Right. So if you're listening, guys, what I did was after the promo video from 2019, right after the promo video from 2019, I after the video from 2019, I changed my exclusive What's Next podcast t-shirt to the exclusive SVI t-shirt that I give everybody on the podcast, right? And so, yeah, you can shop stillvisionary.com/merch. I forgot to say that, but you can shop stillvisionary.com/merch. So with this whole idea of coming up with a promotional video, I didn't know where I wanted to go. And then when I pieced it together, I was listening to this video right here.
Writer or basketball player or a coder, there's a common denominator in how we approach our craft.
Right.
The attention to detail, the level of commitment.
Right.
Right. Those things are the same across the board.
Right.
Right. So that is my message.
Right.
Don't look at what I did, but look at how I did it.
Right.
Right. The how. And then you can really transfer that over into any profession, in any discipline.
Right.
That's Mamba mentality.
Right.
Understanding that no matter what discipline you're in.
One more time, y'all. One more time.
You're a writer or basketball player or
one more time.
Coder.
For a legend. R.I.P. Kobe.
A common denominator in how we approach our craft. The
Right.
attention to detail, the level of commitment. Right. Those things are the same across the board.
Right.
Right. So that is my message. Don't look at what I did, but look at how I did it.
Right.
Right. The how.
Right.
Then you can really transfer that over into any profession, in any discipline. That's Mamba mentality.
So the how I did it, right? The how, coming from Visionary Movements to Still Visionary Inc. And that first promotional video, I didn't know what I wanted to do moving forward, but it clicked to me with the Every Tuesday brand that I'm putting out. It clicked to me, and this is what it is. Check this out. Habakkuk 2:2-3 says, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. You do what you do for yourself to prove you can do it for others. Even though the year of perfect vision needed corrective lenses, your vision was never out of focus. You remained still. You remained determined." Kobe said, "The Mamba mentality is the attention to detail and the level of commitment. Run your race because you got time. Keep the momentum. Believe in your story, a creative story. Remember, never stay comfortable while trusting the process. Be innovative in your 720 hours. There will be stumbling blocks. You just keep pushing. Most importantly, what's next? Continue to drop.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. All right. Yes. All right. All right. God, like I said, I'm a fan of the black and white, right? I'm a fan of the voiceover, right? And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you how I get the every Tuesday teas made, right? And the every Tuesday teas will be taking up a space on my podcast, not my podcast, but on my website under the Every Tuesday tab. I'm going to have the video there and I'm going to have the t-shirt there, right? And the t-shirt is going for $27. It's exclusive. It's embroidered. So when it's done, it'll have every Tuesday on the shirt. It'll have 6 p.m. on the sleeve. And I'm trying to work putting the logo on the other sleeve. I'm trying to work that, right? But yeah, man, support me. Cash at me, John Ross Dike, for that t-shirt. When you buy that t-shirt, I know that you are a fan of the podcast, right? Buy the t-shirt. Follow the What's Next Pod _ tab on Instagram, and just support me, man. I'm out here grinding. I'm trying to make it, right? But that Kobe Bryant, right? When I heard that clip, I knew I needed to use it, right? And of course, I'm looking at the video now, right? And I always got to start off with a Bible verse. That's something I did with the intro to Still Visionary Inc. in 2019. I started off with a Bible verse. And although I did not get the Habakkuk, although I know I didn't get that right? I listened to the Bible app say that before I did it, and that's how I mimicked it, right? But the Bible verse, right? The Bible verse, vision. I wrote my vision down every Tuesday. I need you to understand and begin to associate me with Tuesdays, right? Tuesdays, when you wake up in the morning, is John dropping a podcast. You need not even ask that. If you're subscribed, you already know it's coming, right? Rain, sleet, or snow, I'm going to figure out a way to drop something on Tuesdays, right? So write down the vision, right? That when he read it, he will run, right? And, I was looking for a Bible verse that fit what I was trying to get across. And that is, listen, it's plain and simple. I've written it down on Instagram. I've written it down on Facebook that every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, I drop. And I need your support to get to the next level, right? Moving further, I do what I do for myself to prove that I can do it for others, right? It took me so long to get this podcast going, right? To instill trust in people that know that I do a podcast. Now they're coming to me and asking me how to do a podcast. Is a podcast even possible? What do I charge to produce a podcast? I can do all of that for you. I got a mobile podcast. I go from location to location. And from time to time, my man, 3, in the Pentagon, right? Live from the Pentagon, LFTP Studios. He lets me use the White Room to record my podcast from time to time. But for the most part, I'm a mobile podcast. So I go from location to location to meet the creative in their space. That's what I do, right? Moving further along, right? 2020, when we walked into 2020 from 2019, it was supposed to be the year of perfect vision. You remember saying it, 2020. When you go to the eye doctor and they say your vision is 2020, your vision is perfect, right? But, people that wear corrective lenses like myself, right? We take the corrective lenses off and all of a sudden what we're looking at, what we try to focus at is blurry. And we could not see what the end of the year was coming about. We couldn't see this pandemic coming. We heard trickles of it. But when it finally hit, the year of perfect vision, the 2020 turned into a schmuck. It was terrible. So many deaths. Starting off, Commissioner Stern in the NBA, he passed. Then Kobe Bryant passed on the 26th of January. And then so many rappers passed and so many people's family members passed. When the COVID hit, a lot of people passed, right? So the year of perfect vision, right? The year of perfect vision was not perfect after all. But for me, when the pandemic hit, I said to myself, is this where I'm going to stop doing a podcast because of this fear? I like I said in the podcast, and I think it was around the 50s, I had nightmares that I was bringing the virus home to my wife, who was working in the medical field, who works in the medical field. I had visions and dreams that I had gotten sick and brought it home to the house. So I had to figure out a way to do the podcast, okay, every Tuesday without getting my wife sick or myself sick. So we went to the telephone, right? And moving further along in the video, I started rattling off episode names to me that just carried so much weight that I listened to frequently. Now, bear in mind, I love all of the episodes I've done. I love them all, right? Run Your Race, featuring my man Mario Wanza. Excellent episode. Run Your Race. I'm running my race, right? And, you know, you could kind of find yourself in this maze as a creative in Houston, Texas, right? That's why I had to go from being an artist to a creative, because anything that comes to mind is attainable. Sometimes as an artist, you're stuck in that one lane. I have to run my race. And my race is this, right? You Got Time, featuring my man Easy Eve, who, by the way, the opening song of the podcast and that song that I love, About a Dollar, he wrote those records, right? You Got Time. It'd been years. I wanted to sit with Eve for years and talk to him, pick his brain. And in 2021, we're going to sit again and talk, okay? We're going to sit again and talk about what he's got going on and what I've got going on, because they merge. He's a loan officer. I am, 40 questions, really 30 questions, really 22 questions away from finishing off my program. I did not pass the state portion, right? I took it once. I missed it by one. I took it the first time, I failed. I took it the second time. I passed the national portion, and then I failed the state portion by a point, and then I took the state portion again and failed it by a point again. So I've got to revise a little bit and then get back on the horse and go and take the test, right? But I'm 22 questions away, right? So me and Eve got to sit down and talk. You Got Time, Run Your Race. Believe is an episode I did. That's where I told you that I was finna go in. Believe, I did an episode called Believe. Never Stay Comfortable was the first time I brought my man James Denton on. James is not a creative. He is a creative, but he's not an artist. Sometimes when I say creative, I mean an artist, right? But he made nothing out of something to feed his family that didn't have watercolor on it, that didn't have photos, that didn't have acting and soliloquies in it, that didn't involve music. A 9-to-5, his own way, so that he's writing his own checks. He created that. Innovative, my girl Asia, my homegirl Asia, who has done 4 episodes of my podcast, all in she did 1 in 2019, and then we did 3 together in 2020, right? So that's LA Inspired Creativity, Innovative, We're Up Next, and Tease for Us. Anytime I need an episode or just want to have a conversation amongst creatives, Asia's always down to do that. Let me look and see what else was in it. Do y'all remember? Are y'all listening? You out there? Let me see. So here I am right here. You Got Time, Keep the Momentum. Keep the Momentum was with Sam Reed, a USC grad, right? A Virgo USC grad. And, he's right now doing his music, working on his music, which I'm going to play on here when I get it, right? And I just love the conversation because, the youth, the next generation, they will find ourselves in our lane. The lane of trying to figure it out, right? And from that perspective, a creative who has the tools, the education, the tools, and just needs that push to get to the next level. That episode was very special to me because he and his brother prayed for my wife and I during the time period that my son was in the hospital. They came over, we talked, gave him some counsel. Good, fine young men, man. And so that was a moment, that was a great episode for me. Believe I already spoke on. A Creative Story was with my wife. That was the 45th episode. That was the 90th episode that we did, right? So she did 45, she did 90, she'll do 135, right? And then so on. Every increments of 45. So she'll do 135 and then she'll do 180, right? And trust the process with my homie Kalea Vaughn. Trust the process. Go back and listen to those episodes. She did Trust the Process and she did Trauma Porn. Go back and listen to those episodes. Stumbling Blocks, my man Eli Parker, right? I went to high school with him. That was a great episode. That was episode number 47, I believe, that I dropped earlier this year, right? In Exomes. I did that one in Exomes, and it was just, he said the stumbling blocks that people create for the youth, right? The stumbling blocks that people create for the youth, right? And I believe in the book, one of his stumbling blocks was that his teacher had left him alone to fight a kid. Instead of stopping that, she had left him alone to fight a kid, right? Trust the Process, Innovative with my homie Asia. She was the first person I took the podcast on the phone with. Just ready to just hold me down. Asia, yo, I appreciate you. I love you, man. Appreciate you. And 720 hours was with my homegirl, my sister, Lacey Tizano. Yeah. In a month's time, we got 720 hours to get things accomplished. That's a beautiful episode. I suggest you listen to it. I think it's episode 61. It was over the phone too. Great episode. She's doing beautiful things with the passport journeys. And lastly, my homegirl, my family member, Courtney Elaine, did an episode before I really got the formality of the podcast going. The episode's name was Just Keep Pushing. Just Keep Pushing. And Just Keep Pushing was just a declaration from us to y'all that you can't stop us. We won't be stopped. And, Courtney Elaine does a podcast with my homeboy, Black Blues, entitled The Birthing Truth Podcast, where guests spill their unvarnished, honest, and naked truth. And it drops Thursday, so they pick it up in the new year, right? What songs on my mind? Let's go here first. What songs on my mind? Nas is the greatest rapper of all time, and one of my favorite songs from Nas is Undying Love. If I could play it, I would. Undying Love, right? It's a story of life after death, right? Nas's girl is cheating on him, and out of rage, he kills her. And instead of running, right, he picks her up in his arms. He kisses her, and then he commits suicide in the record. And they are supposed to live in the afterlife together. Undying Love. And so the second song is going to be a local song, man. And here's the story behind that song. If you know me, you know that I've had a few barbers in my lifetime. My roommate at one point, Michael Uwagba, was my barber. My brother, Lance Bobby Dike, was my barber at one time. And in both of those situations, I got my hair cut outside of the barber shop. And sometimes when you go to the barber shop, man, it's just a vibe. They play music, they talk. The hood speaks in the barber shop, right? So, after I yacked my hair off to get rid of this depression, or not depression, but to get rid of this, what's the word we've been using? Pandemic. To get rid of this pandemic, I yacked my hair off. I came back to get my hair trained over and over again. Came back. And not this past time, but the last time I came back, I was sitting down and this kid was in the barbershop, right? And he was saying, check this record out, right? And it played and I was like, okay. He played the second one. I was like, listen, play that first one again, right? And I was like, that one hit. I told my barber, shout out to my barber, Clipper Jones. I told him, hey, hold on right quick. He said, go ahead. I went to the car, got a podcast card, gave it to him, and said I was going to play it on the podcast. Listen, you already know what I came to do. This is episode 99 every Tuesday. Heard this in the barber shop. This is my side. by Basil. Let's go.
I say sign for 15.
Yeah.
He couldn't afford a lawyer. You know it been a long night when I hear Tom join the right off in the state 05. Boy, we out here bending corners. Came up in this wicked place. Taught me never be a loner. Niggas running off with your bread and they'll leave you real hungry.
Right.
And if you in debt, they creep up and put that steam on you. It's a lot of ways out, but we could only choose two. It's that ball of that street, my nigga, what you finna do? Senior year came up, cap and gown, Nike shoes. I like making decisions and moving when I wanna move. From that point on in my life, I just knew to stay true. At the end of the day, only thing matter is revenue.
That beat drop.
17 watching cops race down the avenue. Sun beaming, got it hot, feel like you walking in some glue. This the truth, different rules to the shit I had to do. This the truth, different rules to the shit I had to do.
Boy, you ain't on my side.
I say,
Boy, you ain't on my side.
man, boy, you ain't on my side.
Yeah.
I say, boy, you ain't on my side.
Yeah, verse 2.
I was born in Houston, Texas.
Listen, some things you just can't make up. Look it up. I was born in Houston, Texas on a Tuesday, September 18th, 1984. I was born in Houston, Texas on a Tuesday.
My side. I say, boy, you ain't on my side. Man, boy, you ain't on my side.
Right.
I say, boy, you ain't on my side.
Come on, man. Verse 2.
I was born in Houston, Texas on a Tuesday. Club going up and I got all the hoes choosing. Niggas acting stiff, but you know that.
It's that H-Town flow. It's that H-Town flow.
Never thought about losing. When money come up, I get to talking real fluent. Envisioned all this shit. Now watch me go and do it. Interior all red, mouth open, looking foolish. Hold on to my pride, cause the world is real ruthless. Move with respect, anything lesser gets you toothless. Tuesdays, $5 box, we had to
Every Tuesday.
telling you the real because we really went through this. Don't look at me stupid when you see me get into it. I say, boy, you ain't on my side.
Come on, man.
Boy, you ain't on my side.
Yeah.
I say, boy, you
Beat
ain't
drop.
on my side. Boy, you ain't on my side. Yeah. Hey, same shit. It's just another day. Me and my niggas tryna win any kind of way. We know we live a life of sin, so we pray every day. Can't blame a nigga who just tryna find his fucking way. Cause we in Texas, boy, been touching straps since the age of 8. I'm rocking bathing 8, and I'm sipping on that purple grape. I know a couple plastic niggas acting tough, melted away. Pressure built up, busted pipes, and I saw tears on their faces. Shit you see in my section will have you feeling out of place. Fiends be walking still, cold look, they be out of space.
Listen, man. Oh. Things you hear in barbershops, man. Again, the name of that record is My Side by Basil. Okay, I tried to look up his IG handles, couldn't find him. But I told him I was going to play it on the podcast, man. I love the record. And if I break it, if it breaks with me, or if I break the record, then you know where you heard it first from. The What's Next podcast, A Creative Story. This is episode 99, every Tuesday, right? So, I say that to say this, man. I say that to say this. When you're walking in your purpose, you
know, that's a phrase that I've heard a while now.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Pardon me.
The phrase of finding my purpose. Explain to me from your vantage point what that means to you. What does that mean to you? Because I've heard it. And I've toggled with it, and I've
shout out
said
to my
it to
girl,
my wife.
So John Monet.
I've heard other people say it.
Shout out to
But I just
Demario
wanna hear
Official
from you,
on
'cause this is the
Instagram.
first time I've asked that question.
What up, Kay?
What does that mean, finding your purpose? What does that mean?
So before you find your purpose, you find your passions.
Okay.
You find what literally drives you to a point you can't sleep at night.
Right.
Like you literally can't eat on time because most people eat 3 times a day. Sometimes I can barely get 1 meal in because I'm trying to figure it out.
Right.
And it's just what drives you personally. Like I get excited talking about fashion. I get excited talking about music.
Okay.
I get excited talking about cars. So I was like, okay, those are my 3 passions. Your purpose is the fact that when I say billionaire mob queen, a lot of people think, I used to say it when I was Ubering, because I started like just doing anything, all jobs. You know what I'm saying? You got to. To anything to fulfill the dream. So they were like, well, you know, it's not about money. And I was like, no, that's not what billionaire. When I use billionaire, it's not about that. It's about, okay, you want to be a billionaire. So how can I affect 1 billion people?
Okay.
That's your purpose. That's when you can offer a hand and put the person's needs before yours, and just they'll put your needs, so everyone's getting fed at the same time.
Listen, man. Before I wrap this podcast up, right? It took me a while. It took me a while to find my purpose. And, you know, I would hear people say that, and I was like, man, what? Cut it out. Make no sense, right? And I would hear people say that all the time, and it just did not register to me what people meant. What did it mean? Because it seemed like such an ambiguous statement to make. And it seemed like people were just saying stuff to, you know, just to say stuff. And then it hit me, right? And I was at Zen Ashay's house recording her podcast, and Zen Ashay was like, I just got these mugs, and her mug had her logo on it, right? And we talked about this in episode 95. You know, her mug had her logo on it. She had pens that had her logo on it. She had notebooks that had her logo on it. She had what else? She just had face masks that had her logo on it. And I said to myself, why does this look so familiar? Why am I having a deja vu here? Right? Why does it look like that I know what she's talking about right here? Right? And of course, you don't see me in anything but my paraphernalia. Right? And that's why my brother and I were having a conversation the other night, and he said, JR, why do you have to sell teas? And I said to him, I only sell teas because with visionary movements, I would go out and people were like, hey, what's that t-shirt mean? Can I have one? That's the only reason why I sell tees, because I'm in the tees that I wear. And if you rock with me, you this is all you see me in. So you find interest in what I like and what I rock. And so you want to buy a tee. That's the only reason why I sell tees. I sell tees to promote myself, right? Because going back to that story about Zen Ashay, it looks so familiar to me because I grew up watching my father promote himself in every avenue possible. When I played Little League Baseball, my father sponsored the team. His name was all over it. My father had a truck back in the day when I was in high school. His name plastered on the side of his truck so that people would call him because he couldn't reach everybody. My dad had a commercial. My dad had a billboard off of Maine, the US 90 now that we call US 90 South Maine, that we used to call people from the bottom of the Southwest over there by Maine on the way to Most City. We used to call US 90 South Maine. We still do. But he had a billboard right between Chimney Rock and Hillcroft. And the promotion part it seemed effortless for me because I had grown up watching my father do that. And that's my purpose. My purpose is to promote. That's why I share people's stuff so effortlessly. I'm not getting paid to do that. Although my purpose in 2021 will find me extra dollars as well as selling t-shirts. Right. My purpose is to promote. It's self-promotion. That's why I feel comfortable being able to sell t-shirts, because this is what I wear. I don't wear nothing else. I don't wear Polo. I don't wear Hilfiger. I don't wear Gucci. I don't wear Louis. I don't wear none of that. You know what I mean? And if it makes me corny because I never looked the part because, you know, some people are trying to dress and keep up with the Joneses. Listen, I got a brand to rock, and that's exactly what I do. You never catch me in nothing else that ain't got SVI on it. You never catch me in nothing else. Right? My purpose in life is to promote. My passion in life is creativity. My wife, right? Creativity. And so this podcast, this platform is made for me to promote myself to you. That's why I do what I do for myself, to prove that I can do it for others. to promote myself to you. Everything that I do for myself, I do for people. I press t-shirts for myself. I press them for people. I do podcasts for myself. I do it for people. Right. And so, yeah, I found my passion. It took me 99 episodes to figure that out. And when I figured it out, I couldn't wait to come here and talk to you about it. My passion is promotion. My passion is promotion. Rock with me. You need to rock that Every Tuesday t-shirt. It's $27. It'll be on the website sometime in the next week. It'll be on the website. Stillvisionary.com/every Tuesday. It'll be on there. The t-shirts will be $27. Cash at me, John Ross Dike, right? And it's only a t-shirt right now. I don't know if it'll branch off to a hoodie. That's something I learned from Cliff and Essential. I'm gonna start off with embroidering t-shirts exclusively with the Every Tuesday brand, and go from there. Listen, this is episode 99, right? And the ball drops it's 2:00 right now. The ball drops in 22 hours. The ball drops. I had to get you an episode. Before the new year came. I hope you knew that. I hope you knew that I wasn't going to stop at 98 and then not even touch you on New Year's Eve, right? But this episode is dropping at noontime, right? So when you hear this, know that at 2:00 noontime, at 2:00, I put this episode together for you, right? I know it's a little bit long, right? But I apologize for it. I had a lot to get out. Listen, most importantly, what's next for me? What's next for me is getting these 30 questions, number one, right? And the next some odd episodes that I'm going to do in 2021, right? Listen, if we don't know what tomorrow will bring, right? We don't know what tomorrow will bring. So I just need everybody to be blessed. I'll see you again. J5, I drop. That's a Tuesday. Next week, I drop, right? Tomorrow, the 1st of January, is my 2-year anniversary of the podcast. I'm dropping the Every Tuesday video on the website. All right. Check me out. Oh man. Do I want to go there for the closing song?
Why?
Do I want to go here for the closing song?
Like that. You in a state of mind.
I am in a state of mind.
Physical.
Right. Nah, I ain't gonna go there. Listen, I gotta keep it the same. Houston, Texas, man. I don't know if I forgot anything, but it doesn't matter right now. It's New Year's Eve. I'm bringing a New Year's Eve on my knees, thanking the Lord that I made it. I'm grateful, y'all. I'm grateful. Every Tuesday I drop 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Check the website, stillvisionary.com. I'm John Ross Dike II. Listen, I want to wish everybody a happy New Year. See you in 2021. I do what I do for myself to prove that I could do it for others. Peace and blessings.
Yo, it feel like 95. Sachi on my body. That ball. My wallies, them valleys, no Pilates. More way get you more way. Nah, that's these Bumanis. My crystal I saw the sign like Ace of Spades. That Ace of Spades get cracked me like cheers to the money guy. The Willie niggas who buy them bottles and then they spill these liquors. Yo, salute my dude. 5 bottles, 1 dick. Why I need 2 bras? I know I'm out of line, but love is shower time. You know it rose rain when your cloud is 9. Get off that high ass hussy. This a private party. Been on my dick too long. Your breath on private party. You gon' be nice and naughty. These walls on priceless Audi. This the upper crust. Fuck is up. Over and dose. Overdose. Yes, we did it again.